What's up, kids? Peter von Panda here. Hey, I want to show you my first generation Bushnell BackTrack. I've had this for a while. I really dig it. I have a couple of the other Bushnell BackTrack GPSs, and I'm going to power it on here. Just give you a quick little walkthrough of it. First things first, I may not get a GPS signal because I'm inside, so I may move this outside for your benefit. But first of all, I want to say that this is kind of, in my opinion, the GPS you want. Most people don't need full-fledged GPSs. They just want to be able to get back to where they came from, and thus the name BackTrack is fantastic because all it does is record waypoints when you're at them for a few different waypoints. Some these BackTracks do it for 3 waypoints up to 5, and it just gives you the direction and the distance to that waypoint. So the cool thing is you can mark a few waypoints on a hike, or you can mark a few key places that you need to get back to. It's not going to walk you along the path, so you're going to have to figure out your own way there, but generally it's going to help you get back to where you're going by getting you in that right direction. So I've actually gone ahead and saved a waypoint out my driveway, and I actually am getting a GPS signal here. The time that it takes to acquire really varies. I've noticed that sometimes, weather and trees and buildings or whatever, sometimes it's right away like this is, and then other times it can take a few minutes, and actually sometimes I have to power cycle it to get it to work. But anyway, so what you do once you power it on by holding the button down and powering off by holding the button down, you will get these little icons across the bottom: home, car, favorite, and then back here to compass. So it's showing you, what direction, what the degree heading you are pointed at, and where magnetic north is here. That seems to work more reliably than the GPS function because you don't need to have a clear GPS signal to use that. So it's kind of nice to have that compass feature. But I'm going to go back here to home, and what you do, and maybe I'll go here to the car. Let's say I'm standing next to my car, about to go on a hike. I would hold down this little waypoint, this flag marker here, and hold it down until I get that symbol, which shows all, it's saying, don't go in any of these directions because you're 0 meters from your destination. So what happens is once you start walking away, let's go to that home icon. Once you start walking away from your waypoint, it's going to show you where that waypoint is generally and how far away from it you are. So in this case, 24 meters. And the closer you get, this is going to count down. And this arrow is going to kind of swivel around depending if you get turned around and trying to get pointed back on track. Now, if I go back to this car, let's go back to the car waypoint here. Once you get on it, what you'll get is, now, I'll talk a little bit about this later, but there is a little drift. It's not super accurate. Not, like I said, I'm indoors here. So let me reset it. But once you get back to your destination, and right on top of it, instead of the arrow showing you which direction to go, it's going to get you back to this 0 with kind of that starburst look. Okay, so let me tell you about my experiences, and you can see 3 waypoints there. First of all, it takes 2 AAA batteries, and the batteries seem to last a long time. What I would suggest is on hikes, you mark your waypoints and you turn it off when you don't need it. This isn't something I would look at all the time unless you're heading back and you're kind of lost. It also has a light here. You just tap it once. If you hold it down, you're going to mark and overwrite your waypoint. You just tap it once, you can see the lights on there. I'll take it in total darkness there and roll in a little footage of that because that's kind of interesting. Kind of works a little bit like those indiglows, so I'll show you that. What's up, guys? Total dead darkness here with my Bushnell BackTrack, and I just wanted to show you a couple thoughts on this backlight. So you can see it looks like there's 2 kind of backlights. It works a little bit like those old Indiglo lights. It works fine. And actually on camera, it's actually a little bit clearer, it seems to me, than what I can read with my naked eye. It's just, there isn't a whole lot of contrast, but you can absolutely, even in pitch black, read it. That's not a problem. What I would say to keep in mind is that the viewing angles aren't great. So you can really lose the numbers pretty quickly, especially when you tilt it down. So just a little bit off of top, you'll totally lose. I'm not even tilting it very far. Of course, if you tilt it really far, then you have nothing. But the really deep viewing angles are problematic. So, I have no qualms about taking this on a hike and you know, having a starless, no moon evening and being able to find your way back, which is pretty cool. Now, in the video here, it looks a little purplish. I will tell you that it is just more of an electro aqua blue. It's not nearly as purplish, but low light video recording conditions can kind of suck. So that is what it looks like in darkness. Okay, and the other thing is you just do tend to get a little drift. Now, on some of the later generations of these backtracks, it's the GPS lock it stays a little more stable. But what I would say is for kind of your you know, weekender work, you know, for kind of being able to go on hikes without really having to babysit all your terrain maps and everything like that, it's fine. You know, even if the drift is 10, 20 meters, you know, it's still going to get you back to wherever your car is, and you're going to be able to see it in 10 or 20 meters, or it's going to be pretty obvious. But I've noticed that, you know, sometimes it's dead nuts on, and sometimes you've got, you know, you'll be right on your waypoint, and it'll say you've got 19 more meters to go. The other thing I would point out here is that the LCD has one of these little triangles where it can space them in. So there's really only, you know, maybe 30 triangles around the perimeter here. So in terms of the triangle being really accurate for a particular direction, it's not particularly. So here I've got it lined up with the kind of the dead top dead center. And if I turn it, you can see it'll adjust, but it's not super accurate. So kind of take it as a general direction only. And in fact, sometimes I've noticed it can be probably 20 or 30 degrees off, but it's okay if you're following a path. If you're just in a wide open field, that might be a problem, but you know, generally it'll keep you on track. The ones with the more pixelated LCD displays are, my experience there is they tend to be a little more accurate, but just understand as you're turning the device and everything, it's kind of registering that GPS signal and trying to, you know, there's a little bit of a lag. So what I usually use them for is just to kind of make sure you're on track over a period of 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds, and then I just turn it off again. Again, most of the time it's just been insurance. I haven't actually needed it for hiking, but really cool little product. It's about the size of a hockey puck, but cut in half. You know, so it fits in your hand nice. The later generations, which I'll show you too, are even a little smaller. But this one has been super reliable. You can even get it in a few different colors, like camo and pink if you're into that, and some other colors. You know, orange and yellow, which you may actually prefer. I always worry about camouflage color equipment because what if you drop it? Don't. You'll never find it. Anyway, so the Bushnell BackTrack, like I said, it's kind of everything you want in GPS and only what you want for your weekend activity. So check it out. Peter Von Panda for the Bushnell BackTrack. Out!